Always when I record a video about persuasion, those videos has the highest views. So let's see how this one will go. Welcome guys on my channel, it's Nicole Termin-Moshek, and in today's video I would like to ask you a few questions regarding persuasion. These questions will determine how persuasive you are as a person, if you are actually pro in this or if there are some fields which you could improve. And the first question is, who is your audience? If you know your audience, your message will be made for them. It will be like designed for them. So the first question, who is your audience? The second question is, what's actually your objectives? So when you talk to people, when you want to convince them to something, what's your actually point in talking to them? In certain types of the conversation, I'm not saying like catch up with your friend over coffee, but if there are some business conversations, when you're taking someone else's time, there should be conversation objective, because otherwise you just talk to them for the sake of talking, which is not the way how anyone would like to spend their time. And the next point, which is quite interesting when I ask this question directly, because people will give me really funny answers, it's why your point is actually good. And many people will answer me this because it's my point. And if your mind straight away push you towards this answer, I need to stop you there and say no. You need to have a good reasons why your point of view is good. You need to have the reasons which you can actually explain in other words that taking this as because it's you. I would always like to see answer for this question like someone else looking at and your idea, let's say, they can say directly what's good in this. And if you cannot say it, that needs to be back to previous point, which is to think about your actually objective for the conversation when you will use some persuasive tactics. The next one is the key message. And I love to always prepare the key message in literally one sentence. If it's getting longer, it's getting more complicated. But when it's one short sentence, what's my key point? Because sometimes on the meeting, you will have literally a few seconds. What's your key point? And I experience this very often when I work with directors, that they don't have time and they just want to know the key message. What do you want me to know? And that's what I want them to know. 10 seconds done, move on. And really often when I ask people certain ways and they try to persuade me, I don't know, to work with them or to collaborate with some brand, they go, like they send me explanation for like A4, and I don't have time to read it. And if you cannot write this to me in one sentence, that's the problem. And I have it really often as well. It actually makes me smile on my face when I read a lot of like brand explanations written by some PR teams in their companies when there is some problem. Like, I don't know, they do something which they say they are not doing, but they're actually doing it. And later the brand needs to go with the explanation. And you read the statements and you sometimes think, so what's your actually key message? And really often, and I've seen recently many of examples of the situation that you read it and you need to read it again and again to actually get their point. I would like you in a conversation, if you want to be perceived as the persuasive caller, you need to know your key message and it needs to be short that everyone can understand. And the next one is when many people don't prepare quite often for it, what they can ask you for. So you need to change your direction. When you prepare for something, you need to switch your seat to the person who will listen to you. And you need to find any possible question what they can ask you. I know that's hard because you won't be able to predict every question probably. And there could be 1-2 questions which is gonna surprise you. And that's okay. But if you prepare yourself first, if you make this job, you will be more confident in your speech as well. So what's the question, what they actually can ask you? And of course, don't forget to give answers for the questions. And the last one is the BATNA, and that's the best alternative to something. I will put it in a headline somewhere. And that's the point what you can agree and cannot agree. That's the limit, let's say. I like to call it the limit because that's the last outcome which you're agreeing for. And sometimes when you use your persuasive tactics, when you think about those all questions which can make you persuasive in your speech or in your message to, I don't know, another brand or someone else, you could feel that there is the point, you need to set up yourself this point that when you say stop. And I have it really often with some brands when they ask me to work with them and we talk about how that's gonna look and if that's gonna be good for both sides. And I have really strict button in some situations because I don't want to share with you guys something what I won't like or won't use. And my partner is really strict towards it. And very often I lose a lot of money because of that. And that's okay, because that's according my values and that's according my partner, which I agreed, which is working for me and for you in the same time. So think about what's this limit point, what you can agree for. What's this limit point when you can say, okay, that's it. I'm not allowing to go this further because that's not going to work for me. And sometimes in some conversations things won't work for you and you will need to step out from the conversation, and that's life. It's not everything always beautiful and colorful. No, it's not like that. So that's the 6 questions which I would like you to consider if you would like to be persuasive like a pro. Without these points, which are crucial to your conversation, you won't be able to persuade people, because if you don't know, for example, your audience, how you want to convince them if you don't know which language they talk. And that doesn't mean language like English or Polish. I mean the language of their current life. So there is a lot to think about. And I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did enjoy, leave the thumbs up. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, as there is another video coming for you very soon. Kisses.